testimony of a town. The testimony of a town. This text begins with Jesus having full knowledge of the fact that his earthly ministry was about to come to an end. The scene here is that he and his disciples were preparing to celebrate the Passover when they have gathered in this upper room. In the synoptic gospel, we read where Jesus gave two disciples, Peter and John, the command to go into the city, and there they would find a man bearing a pitcher of water, whom they would relay to this man a special message that the master needed a room to celebrate the Passover. While Peter and John had gone ahead, the other disciples were en route to that room, and in their journey, they began to brood and argue over prestige, power, position, and popularity. Each of them were asserting their rank, or claim rather, for rank and title and seniority. They were arguing over who would have the best seat, and particularly specific and the highest seat in the throne room when Jesus established his kingdom. I need three of y'all have already read this. And as they argued on their way to that upper room, their relationships became ruptured. Their fellowship was strained, and their friendships faltered. So by the time they had made it to the house and climbed those stairs, their attitudes were so altered that they sat down to the table prepared for them and overlooked the customary towel and basin of water that had been set out for their usage. And as they sat there at the table, prepared to participate in the commemoration of the Jewish Passover, it was also customary that they washed one another's feet. But because they had argued over positions and power and prestige and popularity, they sat down not only with dirty feet, but now they're at the Passover table, the fellowship table, and wouldn't even speak to each other. Their fellowship was phony. And these men, these are guys who had ate traveled together. Some of them had even worked together. They had been called names together. They'd been run out of town together. But now, because of their quest for rank and recognition, they were not speaking to one another. And isn't it amazing what personal ambition can do to some folks' thinking? I mean, isn't it strange how an elevated perspective of oneself creates a dichotomy between people who are in every way no more or less than equals? I mean, listen to those P words again: prestige, power, position, and popularity. These are words that should be incongruous to Christianity and the church. But in every local congregation, as it was with these disciples, you can find these words. You know, there's nothing new under the sun. You know, people are the same. It doesn't matter what century they're born in. People have always politicized the church. It didn't start with these guys. It started with these guys, but wasn't relegated to them. There are many who have inflated egos, and subsequently they strive for one, if not all of these P words. And they strive for them not to serve in the church, but to be important, and sometimes to be served. Like these disciples, people want power so that they might be able to lord over somebody else. They want power so they can sanction. I'm not talking about this church. I'm talking about other churches. They want power so they can sanction what does and does not happen. They want power so they might have a free hand to do as they please. They want power to approve or disapprove something. People want power. They also want prestige so someone can look up to them. They want prestige so that they may be widely acknowledged as being influential. Some of them want prestige because they believe it brings some sort of special privilege. They want power, they want prestige. They also desire position, which gives them a sense of worth and validation. You need to be validated. And that's the culture, historical pathology within the African American congregation, because the church was the only place where we could be somebody. Because we had titles in the church, and people were sticklers about their titles, because post-benediction, they was Richard and Joe and Boy and you and Mabel. Come on, talk to me. But in the church, they was somebody. There was mother this and deaconess and reverendess and brother. Yeah, they wanted position because they needed a sense of worth. And sometimes position gives you special seats. They want power, prestige, position, and they also want popularity. They want popularity because of the doors and the invitations it might receive at the hands they can shake. And these disciples, like many of us today, were found guilty on every account because they sat down, listen to me, to celebrate and commemorate the Passover with all of these things in their hearts, and they weren't even talking to each other. So there's some tension in the text, and then Jesus makes his way to the house. When Jesus arrives at the house, he climbs the stairs to that upper room with the anticipation of a great fellowship and disclosure of his imminent death and crucifixion. And as he enters the room, he notices an untouched basin of water and a clean towel still in its place.